What if the most successful people in history didn't win by moving faster, but by knowing exactly when to wait? Strategic patience is the ultimate competitive edge. Why impulsive decisions are costing you everything that matters. Here's something nobody talks about. Your biggest failures probably happened because you moved too fast, not too slow. Think about the last major mistake you made. A bad investment, a relationship that exploded, a career move you regret. Chances are, it wasn't because you lacked information or skill. It was because you couldn't wait. You needed to act immediately, to feel like you were in control, to get that instant relief that comes from making a decision. The cost of impulsivity is staggering, and it shows up everywhere. In finance, panic selling during market dips has destroyed more wealth than any crash ever could. People watch their portfolios drop 10% and immediately liquidate everything, locking in losses that would have recovered in months. Meanwhile, those with strategic patience ride out the storm and emerge wealthier on the other side. Your career suffers the same fate. Professionals jump from job to job, chasing slightly higher salaries or trendier companies, never staying long enough to build deep expertise or meaningful relationships. They mistake motion for progress. 5 years later, they're still at the same level, while their patient colleagues who mastered one domain are running departments. Relationships collapse under the weight of impatient communication. A heated argument leads to words that can never be taken back. A moment of frustration causes someone to walk away from years of friendship. The inability to pause, breathe, and respond thoughtfully instead of react emotionally destroys bonds that took lifetimes to build. But here's what's really happening beneath the surface. There's a hidden pattern that explains why we've become so chronically impulsive, and it's rewiring our brains in real time. What happens when your brain gets hijacked by instant gratification? Your brain wasn't designed for the world we live in today, and that mismatch is sabotaging your potential for high performance. Every notification, every like, every instant response triggers a dopamine hit in your brain. It's the same neurochemical reward system that evolved to help our ancestors survive by seeking immediate food and safety. But now, it's being hijacked by infinite scroll feeds, 24/7 news cycles, and apps specifically engineered to keep you addicted to instant feedback. Neuroscience research reveals something terrifying. Constant exposure to rapid-fire stimuli actually shrinks your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term planning, impulse control, and strategic thinking. You're literally losing the ability to delay gratification. Your brain is being rewired to crave immediate rewards and perceive any waiting as unbearable discomfort. This creates the illusion of urgency everywhere you look. FOMO makes you feel like every opportunity is now or never. Social pressure demands instant responses to messages, immediate reactions to events, split-second decisions on matters that deserve hours of contemplation. We've confused speed with effectiveness, mistaking frantic activity for genuine progress. The modern obsession with rapid execution over thoughtful deliberation leads to catastrophic mistakes. Startups burn through millions in funding by scaling too fast. Investors chase meme stocks and lose everything. Entrepreneurs launch half-baked products because they couldn't wait to validate their ideas properly. Speed feels productive, but without strategic direction, it's just expensive chaos. High performance requires the opposite of what our culture glorifies. It demands the discipline to resist immediate action, the wisdom to distinguish between real urgency and artificial pressure, and the mental fortitude to wait for the strategically perfect moment. But most people never develop this capability because they don't understand what they're missing. So how did history's greatest achievers master this lost art? How ancient wisdom reveals the power of strategic waiting. There's a counterintuitive truth that separates legends from everyone else. Sometimes doing nothing is the most powerful move you can make. Ancient military strategists understood this at a level most modern leaders never reach. They knew that deliberate retreat could be more devastating than any frontal assault. By appearing weak, they lured impatient enemies into traps. While opponents rushed forward seeking quick victory, strategic commanders observed, analyzed, and waited for the perfect moment to strike with surgical precision. The patience to endure temporary disadvantage created permanent victory. John Rockefeller built his empire on this exact principle. While competitors chased immediate profits and explosive growth, he invested in slow, methodical expansion. He bought when everyone else panic sold. He waited years to see returns on strategic decisions. His mindset wasn't sprint, it was marathon. And he didn't just get rich, he became the wealthiest American in history when adjusted for inflation. His fortune was built on the compound effect of patient, strategic decisions. Ancient philosophers discovered the same pattern. They taught that true strength comes from the ability to delay gratification, to embrace temporary discomfort in exchange for permanent achievement. This wasn't about denying desires. It was about strategically directing them. The mental discipline to wait for the right moment was considered the defining skill of exceptional leaders and warriors alike. Today's world has forgotten this wisdom. Everyone's addicted to speed, mistaking constant activity for accomplishment. But you don't have to follow that path. You can reclaim the lost art of strategic patience and use it as your ultimate weapon. Drop the word timing in the comments if you've ever rushed into something and regretted it later. What happened? If this content is resonating with you, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more excavations of success. But knowing the theory isn't enough. You need practical tools to train this skill. Se voc pudes reprogramar su cerebro pero suceso duradero. Strategic patience isn't a personality trait you're born with. It's a mental muscle you can deliberately strengthen, and there are specific training protocols for it. Start with the power of the pause. Before making any significant decision, implement the reverse 5-second rule. Instead of acting within 5 seconds, wait for 5 deep breaths. This tiny gap between impulse and action is where wisdom emerges. Elite negotiators use this instinctively. They create strategic silences that unsettle opponents and reveal crucial information. That brief pause gives your prefrontal cortex time to override your emotional limbic system. Now, let's talk about delayed gratification training. Begin with small, manageable exercises. Want to eat something sweet? Wait 20 minutes. Tempted to make an impulse purchase? Add it to your cart and revisit in 3 days. These micro practices rewire your neural pathways. You're literally rebuilding the connection between effort and reward, strengthening the brain regions responsible for self-control and long-term planning. But the most powerful technique is strategic inaction. Learn to identify situations where doing nothing is the winning move. In business, not every competitive threat requires immediate response. In investing, not every market fluctuation demands action. In conflicts, not every provocation deserves engagement. Sometimes letting situations mature reveals solutions that hasty action would never uncover. Think like a chess grandmaster. They don't move pieces out of anxiety or boredom. Every move is calculated, considering not just the next play, but the next 10. They sacrifice minor pieces today to position checkmate tomorrow. This is the mentality that separates amateurs from world champions across every domain. High performance isn't found in frantic hustle. It's discovered in the ability to remain still while everyone around you panics. And when you master that skill, everything changes. You see opportunities others miss. You avoid traps that destroy careers. You build what lasts. So how does this actually work in the real world of 2025 and beyond? Why strategic patience is your ultimate advantage. In 2026, we're entering a fascinating paradox. The faster the world moves, the more valuable strategic patience becomes. Consider this reality. In 2026 and beyond, artificial intelligence will make rapid execution a commodity. Anyone will have access to tools that automate tasks in seconds, generate content instantly, and execute decisions at machine speed. But you know what AI fundamentally cannot replicate? The wisdom to know when to act and when to wait. That's an exclusively human advantage, and it's becoming the most valuable competitive differentiator in the marketplace. Tomorrow's winners won't be the fastest movers. They'll be the most strategic thinkers, those who can design their lives to protect themselves from artificial urgency. This means creating intentional barriers between you and impulsivity. Turn off non-essential notifications. Establish specific windows for checking messages. Build decision-making rituals that force deliberation before action. The patient's advantage is real and measurable. Research shows leaders who make decisions after reflection periods have 73% higher success rates than those who decide impulsively. Long-term investors outperform day traders in 90% of cases over 5-year periods. Professionals who achieve deep mastery in one skill earn an average of 3.7 times more than superficial generalists. Now, it's time to build your personalized patience plan. Identify 3 areas of your life where impulsivity is costing you. For each one, define a mandatory strategic pause before taking action. Maybe it's waiting 24 hours before sending important emails, or holding off 1 week before making investment decisions. Small pauses, massive results. Write patience in the comments if you're going to start implementing this now. Which of the 3 areas will you prioritize first? And if you want to keep uncovering success secrets that nobody else is talking about, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with someone who needs to learn the art of strategic waiting. The world rewards those who know how to wait. This content is for educational and motivational purposes only. The strategies presented are based on historical analysis and human behavior studies. Individual results may vary. For important financial, career, or relationship decisions, please consult qualified professionals in the respective fields.